The flight took off, but it never landed. The AI whispered, "Where did it go?" This isn't just a story. It's a digital ghost, a modern mystery that haunts us to this day. A question that even the most advanced artificial intelligence can't answer. Where is Flight MH370? It was March 8, 2014, a date etched into the collective memory of the world. At Kuala Lumpur International Airport, Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370 was preparing for a routine overnight journey to Beijing. On board were 227 passengers and 12 crew members, 239 souls in total. Families, business travelers, vacationers, children, each with a story, a destination, a life waiting for them. The Boeing 777, one of the safest aircraft models ever built, pushed back from the gate, taxied to the runway, and ascended into the dark, tropical night sky. Everything was normal. The pilots were experienced. The weather was clear. The last communication from the cockpit was a calm and routine sign-off. "Good night, Malaysian 370. And then silence. A profound and deafening silence that has lasted for over a decade. Just minutes after crossing into Vietnamese airspace, Flight MH370 vanished from civilian radar screens. It was as if a giant hand had simply plucked it from the sky. There was no distress call, no mayday signal, no indication of any trouble. One moment, it was a blinking dot on a screen, on course. The next, it was gone. The initial assumption was a catastrophic failure, a sudden event that gave the crew no time to react. But as the hours turned into days, a far more complex and bizarre picture began to emerge. Military radar data, reviewed later, revealed something astonishing. The plane hadn't just disappeared. It had deviated sharply from its planned flight path. It made a series of turns, flying back across the Malay Peninsula, and then headed out over the Andaman Sea, far from its intended destination. It was flying in the dark, its transponder switched off, effectively invisible to commercial air traffic control. For 7 hours, this ghost plane continued its journey. Or handshakes, the aircraft's satellite communication system made with an Inmarsat satellite orbiting high above the Indian Ocean. These things didn't contain location data, but they confirmed the plane was still powered and flying, long after it should have landed in Beijing. The world watched in disbelief as the search began. It would become the largest and most expensive search operation in aviation history. Ships and planes from dozens of countries scoured the South China Sea, the initial search area. But as the satellite data was analyzed, the focus shifted dramatically. The search zone moved to the vast, remote, and treacherous waters of the southern Indian Ocean, thousands of miles off the coast of Western Australia. It's one of the most isolated places on Earth, deep, cold, and unforgiving. For years, underwater drones and sonar equipment mapped an area of the seafloor larger than many countries, hunting for any sign of the wreckage. Families of the passengers and crew were caught in a torturous limbo, clinging to every shred of news, every press conference, every new theory. They gathered at airports and hotels, their faces a mixture of hope and despair, waiting for answers that never came. The silence from the authorities was often as painful as the silence from the plane itself. A piece of a wing flap, a flaperon washed up on Reunion Island a year and a half later, confirming the plane had gone down. A few more scattered pieces of debris were found on the coasts of Mozambique, Tanzania, and Mauritius. But these fragments were like single pages torn from a book, offering clues but not the full story. The main wreckage, the black boxes containing the crucial flight data and cockpit voice recorders, remained elusive, swallowed by the immense ocean. This is where the story takes a modern turn. In the years since, we've turned to our most powerful tool for solving the unsolvable: artificial intelligence. We fed supercomputers every piece of data we had. The satellite pings, the radar tracks, the ocean current models, the weather patterns from that night. We asked the AI to run millions of simulations, to chart every possible flight path, every conceivable scenario that could explain the plane's final hours. The simulations spun out endless possibilities. Was it a massive electrical fire that disabled the communication systems and incapacitated the crew, leaving the plane to fly on autopilot until it ran out of fuel? This is the ghost flight theory. The AI calculated the probability, tracing the likely trajectory based on the plane's last known heading. Or was it a deliberate act? A hijacking, not for ransom, but for some other unknown purpose. The AI modeled the actions of a skilled pilot intentionally flying the plane into oblivion, evading radar, and choosing a final resting place in the most remote part of the ocean. The data fit this scenario, too. Could it have been a sudden, catastrophic decompression event that rendered everyone on board unconscious? The AI crunched the numbers, mapping how the plane might have behaved under automated control in such a condition. It even explored more fringe theories, because in a vacuum of fact, speculation thrives. But here is the chilling truth. For every theory the AI supported, it found contradictions. For every simulated flight path that ended in a specific location, the physical search of that area found nothing. The storm theory didn't fit the clear weather report. The mechanical failure theories struggled to explain the deliberate looking turns the plane made. The hijacking theory lacked a motive, a claim of responsibility, or any evidence pointing to who might have done it. The AI, with its immense processing power, could only reflect the data it was given, and the data was incomplete. The AI could tell us what was possible, what was probable, but it couldn't give us the one thing everyone needed: certainty. It could draw 1,000 maps of the ocean floor, but it couldn't point to a single spot and say, "Here, look here." The machine, our ultimate tool of logic and reason, was staring into the same abyss of uncertainty as the rest of us. The ocean kept its secret. The silence grew louder. The fear wasn't just about what happened to the 239 people on board. It became a fear of the unknown itself. A fear that some events are so perfectly mysterious they defy even our most advanced attempts to understand them. It highlighted a terrifying vulnerability in our technologically advanced world. A jumbo jet, a marvel of modern engineering, could simply cease to exist. And that is the enduring legacy of MH370. The lead investigator, staring at the endless satellite arcs and conflicting data points, came to a slow, haunting realization. This wasn't just another air crash investigation. This wasn't a problem to be solved with more data or better algorithms. The vanishing of flight MH370 wasn't just a tragedy. It was a perfect mystery, an event that seemed almost designed to be unsolvable, a question mark hanging over the modern world. The AI could process, but it couldn't know. It could simulate, but it couldn't feel the human loss. The final answer lies not in a server farm, but at the bottom of a dark, cold ocean waiting to be found, or perhaps never to be found at all. The story of MH370 is a stark reminder that for all our progress, there are still corners of our world and of human experience that remain beyond our reach. Some journeys truly never end. They just become legends, whispered from one generation to the next. Thanks for watching. If this story captivated you, subscribe to our channel. We explore the mysteries that machines can't solve and the questions that continue to haunt us. Click that subscribe button because the next mystery is waiting.